It's that time of year again when all the top 100 lists are coming out, and this time we're going to look at James Suckling's top 100 wines of the year. Say what you want about James Suckling, the fact is he was at Wine Spectator for over 30 years. He's used some of those connections, he's leveraged them, he built a platform for himself. After that, a lot of critics have tried to follow suit. I think people in the industry get jealous of him sometimes because he's traveling all over the world, tasting great wines, hanging out with owners of all these famous wineries, so be it. His top 100 list tends to be a little bit redundant. You see some of the same producers show up. However, the cool thing about his list, he usually lists more specialty, single vineyard, small production wine on the list. But my tip is you find that producer and you find their most basic wine, it's going to be pretty good. Yes, Suckling rates a little bit high. In general, I take 2 to 3 points off of his scores, but he started to hire staff. He's reviewing a ton of wine all over the world for places that aren't getting reviewed, like China. He covers Australia, New Zealand fairly well. I've even seen him in recent years extend into countries like Hungary and Serbia. Speaking of which, when this comes out, I will be in Serbia judging the Open Balkan Wine Competition and attending Wine Vision 2023. But I had to get this video done for you. I'm going to go over the list. There are a lot of noteworthy wines. I'll just highlight a few and maybe suggest a couple budget-friendly alternatives. Fair enough? And he did it by alphabetical order. Let's start out real quick with the Artadi Alava Viña Pison 2021. This is a Rioja, and Artadi is a great Rioja producer, but the reason I have them up here is I just came back from a trip in Navarra. It's a region right next to Rioja in Spain, and Artadi has a project there, Artazu. I thought the Garnacha there was absolutely stellar, worth checking out. I think you get that wine for about 33 bucks. It's really world-class stuff. Okay, we have a Chinese wine. I won't cover that. Bibi Graetz Toscana Testamatta 2021. This is 100% Sangiovese from Maremma. Great wine, a little bit more expensive. He makes more affordable wines. He makes good Cabernet Franc. But the cool thing is he is a consultant at Fattora le Pupille, and they make really affordable, beautiful Sangiovese. Their Morellino del Scansano Reserva, the Poggio Valente, I think is outstanding wine, so you should check it out. Oh, no. Bruno Giacosa Falletto Barbaresco Rabaja 2020. I only have this on the list. This is a pretty exclusive wine, pretty rare wine. That, along with the Barbaresco Santo Stefano, are wines that I have not tasted yet. However, Rabaja is a well-renowned vineyard. You can get Produttore del Barbaresco's Rabaja Barbaresco for like 60, 70 bucks. Okay, the cool thing about Suckling is he includes Riesling. This is the Carl Loewen Riesling Mosel Maxmin Herrenberg Grosses Gewachs 2022. Outstanding wine, outstanding producer. This is one of their more expensive wines, although Carl Loewen, the value for money is absurd. They have a base Riesling and then one up called the alte reben Riesling, which is still not expensive in Europe. I think it's around 13 euros. So I think if you can find it in the US, maybe 20 bucks. I think it's outstanding value for money. Dry Riesling, just gorgeous stuff. I've been to the estate. Christopher Loewen is a great guy. You should need to check those wines out. Okay, next up, Catena Zapata White Bones 2022. Outstanding Chardonnay. It is pricey, from Argentina. It's like 140 bucks. I had it recently with some of my collector friends. A lot of people thought it was white Burgundy. While it's super good, I think their historic rose Chardonnay, which retails around 34 bucks, is really good value for money. It's a delicious wine. It's something that almost everybody can afford. Okay, going down, there's a lot of Bordeaux. I'm not going to go over every single one. There are really established names. People will know the names. Chateau Pape Clement 2020 from Passac-Léognan. I like Pape Clement because the style is very distinguished. I like the white Pape Clement. Sauvignon Blanc Semillon I think is delicious. But the cool thing about Pape Clement, the second and the third wines are really good value for money. I think they're worth checking out. Okay, moving down. Ooh, a sweet wine. Chateau Soudero, the Sauternes 2020. This is owned by the Bernard family that also owns Domaine de Chevalier. This is a sweet wine, Sauternes, and it's very affordable. It's delicious. I was just at the estate last year, had some old vintages of this. I think it retails in the US for around 55 bucks. If you like sweet wine, those honeyed flavors from Beautretais Sauternes wines, it's a lot better than spending hundreds of dollars on a Chateau d'Yquem. Okay, a Spanish one in the house. Commando Hey Sierra Gredos, the Torre del Rey Moro 2021. This wine's super expensive. It's like 500 bucks. I just came back from the region, Sierra Gredos. It is a mountain region really close to Madrid. Old vine, Garnacha, Grenache, more Burgundy style. Commando Hey is one of the producers that's kind of put them on the map. First of all, it's a beautiful region, high elevation. Commando has some more affordable wines, but when I was in Madrid, I actually tasted a wine that Commando actually helps make. It's called the Agricola de Cadalso, the Sierra de Gredos 2022 Garnacha. In Spain, it retails for like 10 euros. I think in the US, it's around 20 bucks. You kind of get that sense, that style of Commando. Okay, the Da Milano Barolo Canubi Reserva 2016. Canubi is like a Grand Cru in the village of Barolo. Yes, these wines are a little expensive, but Da Milano is a producer that doesn't have as much cachet, not a big name. I think their standard Barolo is worth checking out. Okay, next, Domaine de Chevalier 2020. That's up next. That actually just showed up recently in a video, blind tasting Bordeaux blends from all around the world that I released earlier this year, and it showed really well for a young Bordeaux. I think it's really good. It's from Pessac-Léognan, my favorite region in Bordeaux, because they make reds and whites. 140 bucks. Yes, it's expensive, but if you get the Les Spirit, their second wine that retails for around 50, 60 bucks, I think it's worth checking out both the red and the white. Beautiful estate too if you get the chance to visit. Okay, Domaine de la Solitude Châteauneuf-du-Pape Reserve Secret 2019. Also been the estate, long history there. First of all, this wine is absolutely gorgeous. More of an elegant Châteauneuf-du-Pape, but it is expensive, it is rare. If you want value for money, I think the Domaine de la Solitude Côte de Rhône is one of the best Côte de Rhônes that I've personally tasted. I think you're gonna get it. It's probably 20 to 30 bucks in the US, even less in Europe. Worth checking out, especially if you like GSM blends. Another Riesling, Donhoff Riesling Naha, the Hermann Scholle 2022. This is just a classic estate and vineyards, like a Grand Cru in the Naha, my favorite region for dry Riesling. Donhoff is one of my favorite producers in the world. If you just buy their standard Riesling, which is fairly affordable, I think you're really going to enjoy it. You start to buy their Grosses Gewachs like this, the wines are just really incredible. Okay, Fattora le Pupille de Siffredi 2021. I just talked about it. Bibi Graetz, how he's a consultant there. So this wine was actually in Wine Spectator's top 10 wines of last year. However, I still think their Poggio Valente is the best wine for my palate personally. That's 100% Sangiovese, where the Siffredi is a Bordeaux blend. Their Morellino di Scansano Reserva is also great value for money. You can get it for around 27 bucks. Okay, La Rioja Alta Gran Reserva 904 2015. They make two Gran Reservas under the La Rioja Alta brand. I prefer the 890 actually to the 904. It's just, I don't know, I just like it better. If you want more value for money, you get their Ardanza Reserva. It used to be like 27 bucks, but I think now you're looking close to 40. It's still great value for money. Just a few weeks ago, I did a Rioja blind tasting, and I had one of their brands, the Viña El Verde. I think it was the Reserva. That wine is exceptional. You can get it for like 25 bucks. Morich, whatever you want to call it. Blaufränkisch from Burgenland, the Lutsch-Mansberg, the Alte Reben 2021 from Austria. Morich is a pretty well-renowned producer. They're kind of more minimal intervention. Has a little bit of Brett, a little bit of leather notes. This is the more expensive wine. If you just get their basic Blaufränkisch, a grape which I absolutely love, I think it's well worth seeking out, and you can find it. You're going to Portugal, the Newport Douro Robustus 2017. This is my favorite dry wine from Newport, along with Charme and Redema. Redema, you can get the white and the red. Robustus is a Douro field blend, so a lot of crazy varieties. The high-end wines from Newport, since Derek loves Burgundy, are lower in alcohol. Quite the contrast to other high-alcohol, sometimes pretty powerful wines from the Douro. Robustus is the name, but it's actually not robust. It's not very big. I think some vintages it comes in under 13 degrees of alcohol. Really elegant wine. Passo Picharro Contrada R 2021. This is on Etna. I was just at this estate about a year and a half ago doing a vertical, doing a tasting of all the Contradas. Contradas are single vineyard, almost like Grand Cru wines on Etna. I sometimes have a problem with that. I think sometimes the basic wines from Etna are just as good, and you don't have to pay absurd amount of money for the Contrada. Passo Picharro, I think their Passo Rosso is better than the Contradas for my palate personally. I don't know what the prices are these days, but I think that's fairly affordable, especially because Etna's a hot region right now. Staying in Italy, Roberto Verso, the Barolo Brunate 2019, turning out to be a very good vintage in Barolo. All the 2019s that I've tasted have been excellent. Brunate, another single vineyard Grand Cru. It's going to be expensive. Roberto Verso is in La Morda. Those Barolos tend to be a little softer. I think his Barbera Alba offers absurd value value for money. 25 bucks around the world, maybe up to 30. Just classic, delicious Piemontese style wine. Stay tuned for a Barbera blind tasting video, by the way. A Schloss Johannesburg Riesling Gunlock Spätlese 2022. This is from the Rheingau in Germany. Classic estate. Legend has it this is where Botrytis wines were actually discovered. This is a sweet wine. Yes, I love Spätleses, but I think they're Gelblack. They're dry, basic Riesling. In Germany, it's like 13 euros. I think in the US, maybe 25 bucks is just outstanding wine. So just check that out. That's a dry Riesling, by the way. Oh, Hungary in the house. Those of you who've been following my work for a long time, I was working on a Hungarian wine book. I launched a Kickstarter. It failed. At that point, I started giving up writing. But anyway, San Andrea, great producer. This is the Agricola Gran Superiore Nagyegedezs Agape 2018. Nagyegedezs is like a Grand Cru in the Eger region in Hungary. It's actually pretty close to Tokaj. This is a bull's blood, so you're going to have Kek Frankos, aka Blaufränkisch. You're going to have Kadarka. You're going to have other varieties like Merlot, Cabernet Sauvignon, even blend a little bit of Pinot Noir in there. This is a more expensive wine. Those wines can start to be hundreds of dollars. However, I think their Aldas, when you're there in Hungary, is fantastic. I think in Hungary it's maybe 12 euros. I do think that my friends from Taste Hungry bring it in. If you haven't checked out new age Hungarian red wines, you need to check them out. More medium bodied, earthy, really to my palate. Kudos to Suckling. Going to Chile, Don Melchor 2021 by Conche Toro. Don Melchor is starting to climb in price for like 130 bucks. I still think it's great Cabernet, ages super well. I think it's just absolutely outstanding. It's just worth checking out. Staying in Germany, the Wittmann Riesling Moorstein Grosses Gewachs 2022. This is in the Rheinhessen. I was at the estate a few years ago with Philip Wittmann. This, the Moorstein Riesling, is one of the greatest dry Rieslings I've ever had in my life. It's a little more expensive. Yes, they're basic Riesling and they're basic Pinot Noir. The basic Spate Burgundy is very good. But if you get the chance to try the Moorstein, try it. It's delicious. Rounding up down the bend, the Zenato Amarone della Valpolicella Classico Sergio Zenato Riserva 2017. This is the high-end wine. It's going to be expensive, more rare. I'm not a huge Amarone guy, but Zenato's basic Amarone della Valpolicella I think is outstanding. I think it's around 64 bucks. It's always showed well in blind tastings. It's an Amarone that I actually enjoy. So what do you think about James Suckling? What do you think about this list? What are some of the favorite wines that you've tried this year? Drop it in the comments below.